Hey, how you doing? I was asked yesterday to do a rebuild video of the Yep V1 Rda. I've just taken all of the previous coils and cotton wool out so that I can actually do this now. I'm gonna do it straight off the bat. Okay, now I tend to build direct onto my ohms reader. I find it a fairly decent platform to actually do it, and what I use is 0.6 or 22 gauge Kanthal A1, and for this I'm probably looking at, I'm going to be doing builds generally. My favourite ohmage is 0.22. You know, I can do that straight off the bat, no problem at all. So I'm probably going to be looking around there to actually achieve my ohms. Typical, Kanthal got a bit twisted. I'm going to take one long piece of wire and then I'm just going to slice it in two. So I've got two equal lengths. And a great use for the old EVOD. It fits nicely in my Kanthal and traps it pretty well into the spool. He says not able to get it in there. There we go. Stick it back in the box. Right, I've got one piece of wire which I'm going to just simply twist over. I'm going to cut somewhere roughly in the middle. So we've got virtually the same length of wire. I always use this same size screwdriver. It's about, I would say, don't know, 2.2 mil. And all I'm going to do is just simply wrap the Kanthal nice and tight around, and I'm going to go for 6 wraps. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And sometimes what I do, if I don't feel that the leg is long enough, I'll just simply pull the leg, and because I've got enough, I'll tighten it up and give me quite a lot of spare. I always have a load of spare wire. That's why I buy 50 meters at a time. So I've got 6 wraps on there. Okay. Just going to straighten that out a little bit. What I'm going to try and do on the ATI is get the coil quite central. So I'm just going to measure up the coil. Now with this leg, which is the longest leg, I'm going to leave that straight. But with this leg, I'm going to put a kink in it. Now I've got some nice pliers. I'm just simply going to kink it over a 90-degree angle. And then kink it back at a 90-degree angle. So I've got a nice 2 90-degree angles. So that should enable me to get the coils pretty much central. Now this one, okay, because the bottom coil what you've got to watch with it doing it this way is that the leg on the bottom doesn't touch the positive post. Okay, right. Now that's in there nice and easy. What I'm going to do, get a screwdriver, and the great thing about having 2 holes on your centre post is the fact that you can not you don't have to faff about, basically. So that's one coil on, that's one screw. And nice and tight with the screws, okay? Just going to check, and if I need to, just pull back slightly to make sure that we've got a nice central coil and nothing is touching in the middle. Okay, bring that up a little closer. Okay, can you see that? So that's nice and central. Sorry about the camera, I'm doing this on my phone because I don't really have an adequate camera to do this. So we've got a nice central coil. So that's the first side done. Now I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. And then just pull the legs off. There we go. Probably make a micro coil out of that. And this one, just grab that backwards and forwards until it snaps off, which it will do at some point. There we go, and just get the excess and discard it. So just simply repeat the process again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So making sure we've got exactly the same amount of turns. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brilliant. Just squash it down. You notice I don't burn my pre-burn it for pliability. You know, I don't mind working with pretty stiff wire. It doesn't really do me any harm. Twist that. I'm going to cut that bit off. That's from a previous build I've done. Drop the rubbish into the box. I'm going to do exactly the same again. Now this leg is going to, no problem, go in there, but I need to have that 90 degrees, those two 90-degree angles. So just simply get my pliers, 90-degree angle, and again a nice 90-degree angle, and that will ensure that the actual coil is more central. So just offer that up. Juice holes are full, well, holes full of juice. There we go. Plenty of room. And as it comes through, it will go underneath the other coil. Right. That one into the other hole. Just manipulate the hole, and of course it don't want to go in. Typical. There we go. Just straighten that out a little bit. Now I'm doing this the opposite way. I'm actually putting the lower leg of the coil in the highest hole, and the top in the lowest hole, which some people may find a bit peculiar, but it actually works really, really well. Just going to support the screwdriver as I tighten this screw down, and then just pull this so that we're getting kind of central. Great. And just screw that down. nice and tight. Manipulate the coil so that it's pretty tight. I don't tend really to have that type of coil, but it seems to work, and I generally get a decent hit off of it. Turn it down a little bit more. Bearing in mind that when the coils heat up, you'll probably have to retighten the screws, because you know they will loosen with a little bit of heat going through them. Just stabbed myself with Kanthal, so there's going to be blood everywhere. Yeah, it's alright. Having longer legs makes it easier to twist off, yeah. Okay, so just straighten that up. Yeah, bit of blood. Oh well, doesn't matter. Gonna get my pliers, tweezers, call them what you will. Just squeeze up the coils a little bit more before I even fire them. And once I've fired them, I'll squeeze them even more because they'll be more pliable. That's quite nice. Anyway, I'm not a vampire, by the way. And get one full sheet of cotton. All I'm going to do is just simply cut 4 pieces that are equal size. I'm not going to take the outside layers off. I'm just going to do it as it is. Because it's so fat and fluffy, this cotton, this is nice Japanese cotton, you know, I don't really need that big a section. Now I'm cutting 4 because in a minute I'll re-wick the other one. Okay, all I do is just simply squeeze the end. It's my blood, I don't mind vaping it. I'm joking, I'm not bleeding anymore. And then just tease the wool. Because I'm using 0.6, it's quite sort of like robust when you're pulling the cotton wool in. I find with sort of like other gauges, it's a little bit too malleable for my liking. Right, now got a whole length. All I'm going to do is just simply grab my screwdriver, and I'm going to stuff all of this cotton down into this humongous drip well. It is humongous, and that of course is going to enable you to get what I get, which is about 20 draws off of the beast. Stuffed a whole lot in there. I'm not even bothering to fire the coil because I know it's going to be fine. It's nice and tight, few spaces, so it's kind of an old school coil now. Some of you will probably say, oh, you don't know whether it's actually firing equally. Well, that's okay. I'm sure when I change the cotton wool again, it will be fine. So all I'm going to do now is just with the screwdriver, because I think it's important to not squash coils, get them at the same level. Go underneath the coil and make sure you've got enough airflow going through underneath the coil, which you can do. I mean, this drip well is absolutely massive. And underneath the coil, you've just got just a total bed of cotton wool now, which will soak up loads of juice. Now, there we go. There's my build. Looking quite fluffy, and let's see what ohms it is. So you're looking at 0.53. That'll do. Oh, sorry, no, 0.23. I generally do 0.22 ohm builds all the time, so I knew that was going to come out. So 0.23, it was reversed to me. So all I'm going to do now is grab this device. I'm going to disappear for a few seconds because I forgot to bring batteries with me. Schoolboy error. Chuck that on there. Chuck the top cap on. There's plenty of room. That's important. You got, you know, with this kind of vaping, you got to make sure the coils aren't actually touching the sides of the sleeve, and they're not. I've got plenty of airflow going. Just going to go get some batteries. Sorry, my house is quite long. Okay, so you got the bottom caps. I've been finding with this device, you know, battery duration is incredible. Got a couple of paired E-Fest purple 35 amps going in there. My trusty penny, which enables me to just tighten up the battery cap, and it fits perfectly. So purple E-Fest paired. Oh, drop them. No battery rattle. Okay, I'm using my own peaches and cream, 80/20, and it's a 3 milligram. So I'm just going to prime. It's going to take a while to prime all of that cotton wool. One thing I will say about this Arty is, unlike my Mutation X, whenever I sort of like overfill it, it leaks out. Now, with this, because the drip well is so big, I've not had any drips out of the sort of like the airflow holes. So that's another plus for the Yep V1 Rda. Okay, so 2 fresh batteries. They were on charge overnight, and there you go. Firing well. Now I need a top cap. Luckily, I have the box. Top cap. Obviously, that's going to be on dual coil. Slides quite fit in there. Mouthpiece. And let's have a vape, shall we? Absolutely superb. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers now. Have a good day. Happy vaping.